So I'm looking at this video I want to show you here in this segment on the fire. It's an animated map because I just think I can't relate to this stuff. Like it's burning, it's bigger. But when you go from 2,000 acres to 10,000 to 14,000 to 20,000, then at the time that I'm recording, it's 40,000, but it's not contained yet. Then you see what it looks like going through California, where it's spread, how it's spread. It is. You have to see the illustrated sermon to get the impact of this. So I'm going to bring it to you in a moment. But and then the whole upheaval of people not having the water. I mean, their homes, their schools, and then Chelsea and I were just talking about, well, how about the grocery stores are down? Here's the point: when the hurricanes hit in Carolina and in Tennessee, the government it didn't have a response, and people were literally without food, without clothing, without water. And it's like emergency relief setting in. The government only gives like $700. That's evidently the going rate. Well, what does that do for you? Well, here's what I want to tell you. You think that you're in the clear. Then you're living in this pristine, beautiful Hollywood, Malibu Hills, and you're in the estates. Bam! And suddenly you've got everything burning down. That's why I want you to know peace of mind comes by being prepared. I haven't done this in a while, but I'm feeling like it's time. LanceWallnau.com/Patriot, because the Patriot Food Supply gives you a 4-week emergency food supply. You listen, you don't want to order it when you need it because you can't get it. I mean, your phones aren't working. There's no place to go with. 4-week emergency food supply. Now get this. It's 28 days it'll take you through. It'll take you through with, it's got like over a 20-year storage capacity. And the price is $50 less now because I think that they're realizing people are looking at emergencies. It's only $187. It's cheaper than what you'd be paying for at the grocery store for 28 days of 3 meals a day with all the 12 vitamin-enriched factors in every meal. Go to LanceWallnau.com/Patriot and do what every one of my staff's done and my wife and I have done. Prepare for the future and prepare for your children or for the others that won't prepare for themselves. It's only $187. You need to do it now, while you're thinking about it. And then we'll get into today's story on the fire and some news you haven't heard yet. Now listen, this video that you're about to see right now is, I would say, up to about 70% of it is actually accurate. I'm looking at the lip syncing because somebody was watching Obama and Trump in their chummy little interaction because, it always blows our mind when we ourselves in our silos are so, I hate to say it, and we got to get over this. We are so antagonistic to the other side that we're in danger at times of forgetting that these professionals all kind of, I remember Trump said something once, it was so funny. He said Robert Kennedy was suing him and he needed a flight somewhere and Trump offered his jet. He was going somewhere, you could go with me. And somebody said, so you knew Robert Kennedy back then? He goes, yeah, I've always known him and we got along well. And actually at that time he was suing me for something. But, and they said, well, why would you offer him a flight on your jet? And Trump's answer was, he goes, well, if I wasn't able to get along with people that were suing me, I wouldn't have any friends. Meaning he's a target. And so in his brain, it's like, yeah, now it doesn't mean he doesn't take it personal. And at a point, this guy could be vengeful. I mean, I believe he can be. And it's a sanctified revenge. If you've taken his life and his money, he wants to make sure that you never do that to someone else again. But his other side of him is he's magnanimous. I mean, I've talked to like Glenn Beck and other people that were antagonistic to Trump. The moment he's in office, Trump calls him up and says, hey, let bygones be bygones. Don't worry about that. I'm glad we're working together. Trump actually has that ability to say, hey, let's forget about it and move forward. So that's why he can get along with Obama. This isn't a guy he's going to do business with, but he can get along with him, just like he can get along with people that are suing him. So you'll see that Trumpian side with this lip sync reader who is saying, I think this is what they said, and I think 75% of it is absolutely spot on. Watch it.
Well, Mr. President.
For a second time. Barack, very nice to see you.
Congratulations. So how you doing?
A lot better, Dad.
Yeah, I bet. Knew you'd win.
Oh, really? Well, come on. Anyone could beat her.
Kidding
She's
me?
just...
I was just as appalled. You know what happened? He just didn't want to leave.
I know.
This is what happened. I did what I could to help her. She was horrendous.
I know. You know what I realized? Hillary still hates me. So much. I know. She'll never forget me. We should meet to discuss
I think so, too. We can definitely set something up. Let me know whatever works best for you.
I was going to fly back to Florida tomorrow for the golf.
Okay. Did you see that? She won't even look at me.
Really? I was told some of her people. Apparently, they said she fell off the wagon.
I think she actually may have. Sure. And also, she's not really built for this. Amount of pressure, if you're not built for it, will do it.
Yeah, some people are not built for the pressure. Cut off a little fast there. I mean, I don't know about the golf line in there being accurate, but I believe everything up to there. I don't know. It looks pretty cool, but you catch the dynamic there, and that's the part that I want you to go. Now, the big news is, there's a lot of liberals that are freaking out because of all the people going down to meet Trump at Mar-a-Lago. And yeah, they call it kissing the ring, and it's like Don Corleone is down there, but they're absolutely right. I mean, the guy, while he's there, he's able to hold court. And he's not even president yet. And already he's shaping the globe, as you can see, in Trumpian largeness. But here's the deal. Mark Zuckerberg and Bill Gates were the ones that I was staring at quizzically. Because Zuckerberg put his, what was it? I hesitate to give numbers now. I'm messing up millions and billions. But it was millions into getting those drop boxes set up in as you and I watched 2,000 Mules, regardless of all the attacks against the storyline, the reality is we know they had the drop boxes working with COVID in Philadelphia, in Atlanta, in Michigan. And we believe that they shifted the election as a result of those votes. Be that as it may, Zuckerberg made sure it happened. But now he's doing what everybody's doing. He's saying, oh, when the Nazis were in charge, sure, I persecuted Jews, but you won't believe the pressure I was under to persecute. And they're rewriting history to make themselves look like victims, but they've been with you all along. And I just watched this Joe Rogan segment here. Joe was very friendly with him. I think Joe was a little bit big tech billionaire starstruck on this show. But go ahead, catch the moment.
These people from the Biden administration would call up our team and scream at them and curse, and it's like these documents it's all kind of out there.
Oh, did you record any of those phone calls?
I don't think we but I think
I want to listen.
I mean, there are emails. the emails are published. It's all kind of out there, and they're like, and basically it just got to this point where we were like, no, we're not gonna take down things that are true. That's ridiculous. They want us to take down this meme of Leonardo DiCaprio looking at a TV talking about how 10 years from now or something, you're going to see an ad that says, okay, if you took a COVID vaccine, you're eligible for, for this kind of payment, this sort of class action lawsuit type meme. And they're like, no, you have to take that down. And we just said, no, we're not going to take down humor and satire. We're not going to take down things that are true.
Well, that's him making his, oh, no, we didn't. But there's, what he's not talking about is how Breitbart and Western Journal and Something News Daily and a number of Christian publications and conservative news outlets, Media Matters went in there. And by 2015, 2016, they had convinced Zuckerberg to gut them. It was the night of the long knives. And these companies went broke. near bankrupt and lost billions in views because the Democrats went in and said, you got to take these conservatives down. And for some reason, Zuckerberg's orientation, him and his wife being liberal Democrats, were sympathetic to it. And I really regret the fact, I made a note then, that we need to build a mechanism on the right with conservative CEOs and business leaders, which I've done since then to work with, to be able to counter that and go in and say, hey, you do that. And we're going to go full tilt Robbie Starbucks on you, which means we're going to come out with documentary and all the platforms we've got, from Glenn Beck to Bongino to Tucker Carlson. And we're going to come after you and expose. You have to have the counter punch or there's no punch at all. But I want you to see Natalie Winters. This is where women are stronger than men. And watch Natalie, filling in for Steve Bannon, do her Zuckerberg takedown. Go ahead and play it.
I can only handle so much of that. It's 13 January, Monday in the year of our Lord 2025. And Mark Zuckerberg, for all the money that you have, you need to get a better acting coach. Wow. The Biden regime officials, Mark, they cussed at you and your engineers. Wow. And you folded like I've never seen anyone fold. The entire MAGA movement had what? Every arrow in the quiver, the entire full force of this state, of this regime, prison sentences, assassination attempts, Stephen K. Bannon, Peter Navarro, Donald J. Trump. And they stood in the breach and took it like real men and fought for this country. And some weird woke looking bureaucrat cussed at one of your engineers, probably an H-1B. And you folded and you sold this country down the river, so much so that you gave nearly $1 billion to make sure that Joe Biden, on very illegitimate grounds, could become this country's next president. Maybe in all the new hobbies that you're picking up in your free time, whether it's the jujitsu or the wakeboarding, whatever you're posting to try to pretend and dupe this country into thinking that you're a human. Maybe you should start reading history books and learn about the trials and tribulations that people have been put through and the courage that they have mustered to stand in the breach, which you, Sir Mark Zuckerberg, have none of. Speaking of history, I'm so glad. What was it? 5 years ago. 5 years. Wow. 5 years ago. You lectured at Georgetown on free speech. Thank you. Thank you for your contributions to humanity. Thank you.
Nobody takes you down. It's like woke women. Well, when you got a righteous, raging MAGA patriot female that's educated, that's a close shave. What do you think?
My big thing with him is, have you noticed how they're trying to really soften his look and make him look less cyborg? Like they've grown the curls out. He's wearing softer colors. Is this some kind of psyop we're in? We lived through it.
The guy can't help that he looks intense like that. But admittedly, he's trying to rehabilitate himself. He's trying to look more relatable.
They're just trying to rebrand him. They're just playing with us.
That's why she says a better acting coach. Because what he really needed to do, which is what real leadership probably would do, is say, when I looked at the courage of Trump, fight, 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 I did a reevaluation of how necessary it is to show up and fight, and I wasn't showing up and fighting. And America needs us to upgrade our leadership, especially guys like me that have the resources, and I'm committed to that now. And here's what I'm doing that's different. I'm going to remove the community notes fact-checking with my wokenistas, little pajama boys over here that are sitting there in California doing all the filtering of comments. We're going to end our fact-checking, left-wing fact-checking. We're going to take the lid off of free speech. I want to see if they do it, Chelsea, because I got 1 million people on Facebook that don't hear me because of my political views. I've been suppressed. I used to have 100,000 views down to 20,000. Let's see if they actually mean business. And I'm going to call up the head of I'm going to call their corporate office. Let's make a note of this, Chelsea. We need to call the lady that's in charge of the faith department. They actually have a faith department, an executive that interfaces with religious communities. I want to talk to her about how we can help to reframe Facebook to people like us, because a lot of MAGA people in our Patriot movement have felt like they want an Elon Musk to take over that, because they want someone that's committed to free speech.
Well, there is one way to kind of help gain the algorithm is the more you engage with a certain page or content, the more they'll start showing it back to you. So there is a part of the suppression we're dealing with that we've watched happen over the last several years. But there is one thing you can do. You can start liking and engaging and leaving comments with Lance's content on the page, and that'll help us with the algorithm, and it'll help you see his content more. So there is one thing you can start doing to kind of start getting around that. You just have to go find it, engage with the content, and you should start seeing it more.
I agree. 100% I agree. Like and engage. He's always telling me, tell people to do that. I keep forgetting to do it, but I know you're going to do it right. Stop right now and like that page. Subscribe if you're on YouTube. Engage. Make a comment. 2 thumbs up. Help us out. And we'll be right back. What happens if a natural disaster takes place? We have these weird tornadoes that hit in the Midwest and in Texas, but look at the hurricanes in Florida. People can literally have their houses flooded, or they're in a situation where they have no food or access to groceries. Everyone needs at least a 4-week emergency food kit. And fortunately, My Patriot Supply has created a 4-week emergency kit. And these products will last for 25 years. The interesting thing is they give you a 2,000 calorie per day meal. And that's the key. Delicious and 2,000 calories a day, because that's what you're going to need to sustain yourself for 4 weeks in a crisis. We had a winter freeze here in Texas, of all places, and we had a couple of days where we had no electricity. I'm telling you something, this makes a huge difference. Mushroom rice pilaf, fluffy rice and mushrooms, seasoned with red wine and herb. And then how about starting the day off? Maple Grove oatmeal, old-fashioned oats, maple flavoring with a pinch of brown sugar. This is what you want to do. 4-week emergency food kit, and that's just for you. Think about your children. Guarantee somebody around you is going to need help. You're going to want to at least have the 4-week emergency kit. Go to lancewallnau.com/Patriot. Use that link, and you're going to get a special discount on their special 4-week emergency kit promotion. And I'm thankful that we're back again at the Lance Wallnau Show. Now, I want you to do something. Speaking of like media, I put a visual up that really shook me up. It's a picture. I want my studio producer to get this one ready. I want you to go to the Twitter page for @Lance Wallnau and watch this, because I've got the video for you. It's going to post it for you to see. @Lance Wallnau. I've got today's image of a video of showing the progression of the fire from where it started to where it went, because it's so hard to get this from the images they're giving you. So go ahead and play that right now, and you can get this on the @Lance Wallnau page on Twitter.
Newsroom here have put together this incredible animation that shows the timeline of how this fire advanced through the communities of Pacific Palisades and Malibu. Here it is, January 7th at 6:17. It was at 2,900 acres. And then on January 8th, that explosion to 15,000 acres. And then the next day, 17,000 acres as it progressed into the mountains. And then on the 9th, 19,000 acres. And you can see how far it had gotten into Malibu. And then we come to yesterday at 20,000 acres, and you can see 20 and then to 21,000 acres, but you see how far across it spread, and all the way up to the 11th, which is today at 22,660 acres. This is just information from 7:30 a.m. today.
All right, so it starts off with, for those of you that are not watching this, you're on a podcast, and I'm always sensitive to the fact that, you're hearing it. But it starts off with 2,900 acres. Chelsea, check to see where it's at today. And it's gone from 2,900 acres to 22,000 acres. And I listened to Adam Carolla. I almost wish that I had queued my producer up for that one. Adam Carolla said some very bold things. He said, hey, you want to know, you take a look at those particular counties in California. And what you're going to notice right away is all the way up through Malibu and this area here in LA. He said, listen, I'm from that area. I know it. They all vote Democrat. They voted for this. He said these are the bluest of blue areas in California. this is what they wanted. Now they've got what they asked for. And now they're reconsidering what it is that they got. I mean, you've seen it. Stuff you couldn't talk about 5 years ago for fear of being labeled. But I mean, that they hired in on the top 3 positions for the fire department are all lesbians named Kristen, Krista, or Christy. 3 variations of Krista, all lesbians, all diversity hires. With and that was their philosophy of governance. Wasn't preparing for fires, but preparing for diversity. Play video 3, and you'll see what I mean. This is a female assistant fire chief in LA. Is that right, Chelsea? You picked this one.
Yes, I believe. Let's see. She's the LA assistant fire chief, talking about the importance of DEI in the LA Fire Department. Let's play it.
You want to see somebody that responds to your house, your emergency, whether it's a medical call or a fire call, that looks like you. It gives that person a little bit more ease, knowing that somebody might understand their situation better. Is she strong enough to do this? Or you couldn't carry my husband out of a fire, which my response is, he got himself in the wrong place if I have to carry him out of a fire.
She's just victim blaming.
What's crazy about that response is, for those of you that know, that somebody, this is the nature of a woke virus, somebody put that together that was paid by the government, thousands of dollars, to do some advertising, and thought that was a great argument. That if your husband needs to get out of the 3rd, floor back room because of a fire, hey, no, we can't carry him out. We're under diversity, higher. Our women aren't being able to do that, but that's his fault because he never should have got himself in that situation in the first place. That's the stupidest bloody argument. Well, you shouldn't have gotten a car accident in the first place. So no, we can't pry you out. So this is the worst argument: is our people aren't capable of doing things, but it's your fault. But that's a woke argument, by the way. Thoughts?
Yeah, so according to USA Today, California Fire said in an update Monday, so January the 13th, that a total of 40,300 acres have burned across multiple blazes, including the Pacific Palisades fire west of LA, the Eaton fire near Altadena, and the Hearst fire near Sylmar. At least 24 people have died, and more than 100,000 have been forced to flee their homes.
Oh my God! So I'm so shocked. So that little video I showed you, it only has half the fire, because it ended at 22,000 is where they ended, and it's up to 40,000 right now and not stopping. The fire's still going, and I think they were worried about winds this week.
Well, and they're out of water. That's what I hear.
I still don't understand why they can't use salt water as an emergency. They have an ocean, especially Malibu, where they have beachfront property. And all you got is beach, and then the ocean, and then the burning down of all this whole row of this, these beautiful mansions on the beach. Why don't you just put the salt water and blow it on? If there's a hurricane or something, that water's flying in your house anyway.
Well, this is saying that salt water can be very corrosive, and it can also reduce the cooling effect of the water, meaning it's not as efficient as a firefighting tool. But you also have to remember, we have to protect the fish. We have to save all the little fishies.
I'm sorry, but these arguments about the salt water are so bad because you're saving the house, but it's corrosive. Yeah, I guess if you have a choice between the house or the hoses, we'll have to replace the hoses because of the corrosion. All right, so, but Joe Biden is to the rescue. And here again, in a moment of stupendous deafness to media, he brags about what he's going to do for every single person. Your house is burned down, your school's burned down. If you have more than one property, they're both done. Your insurance was taken away a month earlier. But the American government is here. Yes, of course, $200 billion to Ukraine, but $770 for every one of you for Uber Eats or for water or whatever you need. So watch this segment, which they thought was such a brilliant moment for presidential Biden on his way out.
And I want to be clear. We're not waiting until those fires are over to start helping the victims. We're getting them help right now, as you all know. people impacted by these fires are going to receive one-time payment of $770, one-time payment, so they can quickly purchase things like water, baby formula, and prescriptions. So far, nearly 6,000 survivors have registered to do just that, and $5.1 million has gone out.
Well, $700. That'll for those folks out there. I'm not sure that that's going to be the relief that they're looking for, but
that's like one trip to the grocery store. And if you have a kid, like my friends buy diapers and they easily spend $100 to $200 at a time when they buy diapers. And when they go to the grocery store for a family of four, their groceries easily are $300. I mean, that's nothing. And then you're looking at LA prices. Like, is this the going rate for tragedy? Because the hurricane, for relief, they gave about the same amount of money, between $700 and $800. So is that just the going rate if your life gets destroyed, according to the federal government?
And one wonders if this is going to have a negative impact upon Gavin Newsom, who was actually a presidential hopeful for the California, for the left. I mean, the Democrats really wish it had been Newsom who could be the president right now instead of Harris. If Newsom had only been able to not have had a recall, which was done thanks to the conservatives and evangelicals out there that challenged him on the recall for no other purpose than to just show that he was not exactly going to be the stellar presidential candidate, a guy who's had a recall vote he had to survive. But Kevin O'Leary calls for the removal of Gavin Newsom and Mayor Bass. Do you agree with Kevin O'Leary? He's kind of like the new Trump in terms of the business market. He's Canadian, not American. But go ahead and listen to what he has to say.
Give me 30 seconds.
And Bass, I think every taxpayer in America, including those in California, would like to tie this aid to removing Newsom and Bass. Now, gone. Part of the deal would be, and I know Trump likes new ideas, here's one, not a dime until those two are whacked from their jobs immediately. They are so incompetent, and all of the decisions they've made led to this, and they're still making mistakes. They're horrific managers. Whack them.
I'm curious about something here. Donald Trump says, and this is a tweet, and this could really be damaging when the Trumpmeister starts hitting at you like this. But he says, one of the best and most, this is image 4, one of the best and most beautiful parts of the United States of America is burning down to the ground. It's ashes. And Gavin Newsom, ooh, he's calling him a new scum, should resign. This is all his fault. And meanwhile, Gavin Newsom is inviting Trump to come out there and meet with him. By the way, they have their budget they're putting together right now for rehabilitation. And part of their budget for restoring the losses is to include $50 million for fighting Trump's administration. It's all part of the bundle. I wonder how Trump's going to handle that when it comes time to start doling out funds for California as president. Well, that's all the time we have. I can't believe we're out of time. Don't forget to like and subscribe on whatever device you're on right now. Leave a comment. We're looking for, I read your comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, YouTube or wherever. And God bless you. We'll see you again tomorrow.
Did you enjoy this latest episode? Please remember to share it with your friends, because the more knowledge you have, the better equipped you are to navigate